So I'm here with Terry from Jim's Pool Care. Now, Terry's one of our winners for the Accor voucher scheme, which is for our franchisees to do really great service in the field. And I think you're nearly at 100 five-star reviews, and you've been with us, I think, since 2020. So it's a great achievement. And with this Accor voucher, you get 2 complimentary nights anywhere. And Australasia basically state that, Sofitel, Pullman, Novotel, all that sort of stuff, and discounted drinks, foods, all that sort of stuff. So we'll get that to you straight away. But thank you very much. Now, Terry, I just want to start with first, what were you doing prior to Jim's?
So prior to Jim's, I was working in the finance industry as a mortgage broker. So I was helping people with their residential loans, commercial loans, and mezzanine finance. I enjoyed that, but I found even though I was helping people out quite often, you weren't getting paid for your work. You could work on a file for 6 months, and at the end of it, the client would change their mind and you wouldn't get paid. So I started looking around for flexible careers that could work around my family and that would be well-paying jobs.
How did you find Jim's Pool Care? Because a lot of Jim's different divisions and things you probably looked at. So what was it about Jim's Pool Care that interested you?
So my wife had a chat with one of our friends one day at a play date, and he suggested Pool Care. And I contacted another franchise, had a chat to them, and then we thought, okay, we'll try Jim's. We know Jim's had a pool franchise because we did some Google searching. And I had a chat with my franchisor, Brad, and I really think Brad was quite good in relaying how Jim's operate and getting me across the line and being very open and transparent with me. And I just enjoyed their model more, I suppose. It was a better model for me.
And how'd you go coming from a mortgage broking background into doing pool care? What was the training like, and how was that whole experience in making a big career shift into your own business?
Training was pretty simple because really, at the end of the day, a lot of the gym stuff is quite logical. And I actually enjoyed science at high school. I do have a uni background. I've got a degree. So, using chemistry and biology around pools was quite logical for me, and being trained by the franchisor for 10 days and having that ability to call up anyone in the group if you get stuck was pretty amazing. So that transition was quite smooth.
Now, did you do the training for the 3 days at Jim's Group National as well?
Yeah, I did that as well. So doing the generic training was quite good to see how the company operates, and I actually met Jim. He sat down with us one night at dinner, and yeah, that was good.
That's awesome. Now, with your business so far, so how have you found being your own boss and going from that employment to what you're doing now? Maybe do you recall the first couple of weeks, or what was the first month like running your own business?
I've been self-employed before, so being my own boss wasn't that scary. I think the scary stuff was, I don't know, just walking into the pool for the first time with not having someone to lean on. But you just use your training, draw upon what you've been taught, and it's pretty easy.
Yeah, and I think the pool care guys, you have Brad's a really good franchisor, and he's a bit of a TikTok superstar with his videos and stuff. But yeah, and he's got a lot of knowledge. So yeah, so you reckon that training, it did translate really well from what you learned in that 10 days to going to do that job your first self in regards to what you learned. You were confident enough to do it.
It's practical training, so I can compare this completely with my university. Like at university, you study, but you go and get a job in your chosen studies, and it's completely different because you haven't had any in the field training. Whereas Jim's gave me in the field training, so and they also gave me the tools and the equipment to be able to perform my job in the field.
Let's talk about the services you provide in your business. So it's not just pool cleaning. Let's just talk about the full gamut, or maybe go through some of the different varieties that you do in your work.
Okay, so pool cleaning is probably 80% of it, but a lot of it is looking after people's pool equipment. So if the pool equipment goes down, we can replace it. We get quotes for people so they know, we're not ripping them off. We try to make people's lives on the pool easier. So one thing we also sell is robots. People love a robot. They can be quite apprehensive, but once you talk them through it, they love the benefits of robots. We can put heating in for people. People, in this time of year, quite often say, hey, how can I use my pool more? And it's an easy sell to, sell them a heater. And quite often you're dealing with people who are getting older with an aging population. So in a lot of ways, you're a little bit of a community service. You're going in there, you're having a chat with them. You're helping them look after their pool. They feel good about themselves because their pool looks good. It's something they don't have to worry about. So I pride myself in just giving old-fashioned service, and I think that's quite important.
Well, it's reflective in your star rating. So for those who don't know, you've got around 100 5-star reviews. And because you probably have a regular customer base, it'd be hard to build that up. So it's a really big number for what you do with your business. So do you want to talk about that old school, maybe service or those values that you have and why you're such a good franchisee in terms of the service?
Yeah, well, I suppose I've been working for over 30 years now. And one thing I've learned, particularly coming from a corporate background, is you don't burn bridges. And part of that also translates to customer service. So we know if you give good customer service, you're going to get good referrals to other clients from your existing customer base. I always treat someone's pool as though it's my own pool. And I think people see the owner working on a pool. They're not seeing just a kid coming in off the streets who's got no real training or knowledge. And I hear that a lot from previous not previous clients, existing clients who have moved on from their previous pool guy saying, oh, they just send anyone and we weren't happy. So I think people are quite, comfortable seeing the owner actually working in the business and, just treating the pool as though it's his own.
That's a good point to make to people, yeah. So they might have a big company and have, like as you said, a couple of employees who might not have the same care level, whereas with you being a franchisee, it's your business, you're the expert, you're the one responsible
right.
for it.
Yeah, exactly.
And let's talk about now the robots. So what are the benefits of robots and why are people apprehensive to these things? Because I know that I've obviously gone and done a lot of videos with some of the guys down here and they love robots. So maybe you can talk a bit about the benefits to it for customers.
Okay, so the apprehension for robots is obviously the startup costs, because for a decent robot, you're looking around $2,000. But the benefits are the client can put the robot in the pool, walk away for 2 or 3 hours and come back and the pool's clean. The client can go on holidays and set the robot on a cycle and the robot will clean every 2 or 3 days, come back and the pool's been looked after. But the biggest advantage is the robot operates independently of the skimmer box. So the skimmer box can actually do its job, and that's skim the leaves off the surface. So yeah, the benefits of a robot is they can allow the skimmer box to operate independently. So effectively, you have 2 cleaning systems. And another benefit of a robot is a lot of them have lift systems. So some of the elderly we deal with say, "Oh, it's going to be too heavy for me," but they've just got to press one button, and the robot will come to the surface, and it's quite easy from there for them to pull out of the pool. So it's almost a set and forget type of system with the robot. The only thing is you've just got to pull it out when you're not going to be using it regularly just to preserve its life. But quite often I've had these people who are apprehensive and once they put it in, they said, "Oh, I'm never going to not have a robot." So it's good. It's good.
And then how do you come into play with the robot? Is this something where you just maintain the robot or there's other things the robot can't do which you come and do, or how do you come into play with that as well?
We basically come and clean the robot on our regular service trips. We check the robot for wear and tear. We advise the client maybe to store it out of the sun if they're keeping it stored in the sun to protect it from the UV. We can rinse out the robot, with the hose water to get some of the chlorine off to make it last longer. But otherwise, we come and do those little areas of the pool that the robot doesn't reach. Like there's always corners and crevices and steps that some of the robots just can't get up. So we come and clean around those areas.
And for the customer, is it more of a cost benefit in the long run because it's going to maintain the pool better and make it easier for you? Or is that from a cost perspective, it's better in the long run to have one?
Absolutely. There's a big cost benefit. One is there's less wear and tear on the pump because the pump's not isolating as much to run something off the skimmer box. And 2, if they run the robot regularly, they can say to us, "Oh, we don't need you to come fortnightly. You can come once a month." So yeah, there is a saving there for the client.
Is there any particular sort of brands that you guys prefer to use or that you recommend for customers to look at or that you can help with?
Like anything, with my corporate background, you like to give options when you're quoting. So the 2 of the options I give is Matronics and Zodiac. We tend to find Matronics have the better after-sales service with their warranties. And Zodiac are pretty good with their warranty service, but I just tend to find that Matronics are have their nose in front when it comes to after-sales service.
Absolutely. And the thing people probably need to remember as well, the name of the division has got mobile pool shops as well. So maybe do you want to talk about all the different stuff you stock and maybe that you help your customers out with from a product point of view?
Yeah, a lot of people don't realise when we turn up, we can pretty much sell them everything that a pool shop can sell. So we can sell them replacement scoops and brushes. We can repair their equipment on site. We can obviously, too, the big thing is add chemicals. So people can burn a lot of time going to the hardware store or the local pool shop to buy their chemicals, wait in queues, bring it home. Whereas we're there, we add it for them, and we're done in 45 minutes, an hour, and they're not burning that time and more by driving down the road, lifting out of the car, throwing it into the pool. And quite often, that's a huge benefit for the demographic of the elderly who just aren't physically capable of carrying bags of salt to their pool anymore. So, yeah, we've got everything in our cars that any pool shop has. And if they need something that we don't have, there's a quick turnaround time to order it with our main suppliers.
Yeah, and also I think just having you on site to look at the pool rather than a customer maybe showing a photo to someone in a shop, you're an expert there on site where you can pretty much see the problem and diagnose it and fix it straight away. Yeah,
that's a massive point. And I actually sometimes go into pool shops and I do hear the person behind the counter say, "Oh, what does the pool look like?" And the customer sort of stumbles with the description. And you're right, we're there. We can diagnose it straight away.
Absolutely. Now let's talk about green pool rescues. I see a bit on different social media channels, and that green pool rescue, hopefully customers don't let their pool get to that stage, but is that something you do commonly in your business if there might be a big storm or something? Or
yeah, I love green pool rescues. I actually pride myself in turning around really quickly. If you get the chemical balance right, you can do it in 2 services. And people are really happy once you leave the first time and they can see their pool changing colour almost instantly, because it comes back to having a bit of a science base and a bit of science knowledge from our training with Brad and the Gym's franchise. If you know your chemicals well and you know basic pool chemistry, you can really turn a green pool around very quickly, particularly if you give some attention to vacuuming the pool before you start the chemicals, because if you get most of the algae out and most of the debris out of the pool, your chemicals you're going to add are going to be fighting a lot less volume of algae and foreign matter to convert the pool back from to clear water. So yeah, I love green pools. They're great.
They're great to watch. It's if I was a customer, I have no idea how to do it, and how you guys turn it around quickly is amazing. It's probably one of the best videos to watch online.
And that also includes looking at the client's equipment. Sometimes a green pool is just a matter of backwashing the filter because the filter's congested, and giving that a really good clean out. So yeah, little things like that are just client doesn't see or know how to do. So it's good.
And let's talk about real quickly the what I was going to say about the maintenance schedule. So I presume every pool is obviously different, but what's the sort of ideal maintenance schedule for customers, or what would you advise for a customer? Because I presume you get a lot of customers who might come to you, they might try it themselves and stuffed it up and then come to you and got you in to fix things. But what's the ideal if someone's a new pool owner or has a pool? What should they do?
So as you know, we get inquiries from the call center, and quite often we speak to the people initially over the phone, and it's very hard to diagnose a call cycle over the phone. So we try to get in front of the client. And once they get to meet you and get to know who you are and feel comfortable with you, you got your foot in the door, and hopefully, you become their pool tech. So what we generally advise as a minimum over the course of the year is every 4 weeks. If the client has a large pool or a pool that has a large amount of leaf debris and they don't have a robot there, or a high use pool, we advise every 2 weeks. Because obviously in summer, the pool's being used more, so the chemicals are being consumed by the bather. And you also have the elements hammering the pool, the rain, the UV from the sun, the wind. So, evaporation every 2 weeks is good for those type of pools that have high elevation, high leaf load, high use. Yeah.
And how big is your business currently? How many regular customers do you have?
I'm between about 80 and 100 regular customers, and then you get the randoms from time to time who call you up every 2 or 3 months. So yeah, I'm reasonably happy. We're always growing, and I enjoy what I do.
And is it just you working in your business, or?
Yeah, I've actually put a young fella on with me. He finished school at the end of what year are we? 2023.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he finished end of 2021. He finished high school, couldn't find work, and the reason he couldn't find work is because he's got autism.
Okay.
So he's got a provider, and he had a job with Big W, and that didn't work. With his type of autism, he needs constant supervision. And I suppose that's the beauty of the type of job I have is I'm always there. So I'm always constantly supervising him, and he's worked out quite well. So it's nice to give back to the community and give a young person with autism a go.
I'm glad you said that, Terry, because I do know of instances where franchisees in other divisions have people with special needs or autism and stuff, and they have that. They do similar to what you do, and I don't think a lot of people know that. So well done to you, and it must feel really good to be able to do that for a young person who probably doesn't get much of a go sometimes in employment, but they're very capable, as you would probably tell from working with him.
Absolutely, and this child is also in a foster home as well. So life hasn't dealt him the best cards, but I think he's got some good people around him now, with his care provider, with his foster mum, and hopefully with continued employment with me, and hopefully we can get him on track. And it's been a battle, but we now got him signed up for NDIS. He slipped through the cracks with NDIS, so now he's got a bit of a safety net if if his circumstances change down the track and he needs support from the government. So yeah, it's he's ticking a lot of boxes, and hopefully he'll be he won't be a burden on society. He'll be able to look after himself.
Well, maybe what could you say for other franchisees or just small business owners in general in doing what you've done? Like, how did you find this? How did you find him? And what's the sort of, maybe do you want to talk about the benefits that you found from doing this?
What I found with the boy with autism, you give them a chance and they want to keep their job. We had some challenges with him very early on, but the number one thing that got me through with him is he turned up to work 5 minutes early every day. Every day turned up to work. And I know if I was to employ any number of 18-year-olds, I'd probably battle to have them turn up to work any day. So apparently that's one of the traits of people with autism. They're very loyal and they're very time conscious. But the way I found him is I put an ad on Facebook. He approached me, had a meeting with him. I saw that he was physically capable, so that ticked a box. He could communicate, that ticked a box. He did tell me he had autism, and I didn't see that as an obstacle in any way or form, because I really had to see what he was like in the field first. In the field was a challenge for the first few months, but it's taken 12 months and he's really hit his straps now. So, I would encourage any franchisee to, just trial someone for 1 or 2 days and see what they're like. And if they see potential, just hang in there. Approach a few of the agencies in the area. There's a lot of disability service agencies in the areas now. So you could call them up and see if they've got someone on the books that wants to come to them. And I didn't get any government incentives because Philip approached me directly. But if the agency comes to you, you'll be available to get government subsidies.
Oh, that's great, Terry, and I didn't know that before doing this. That's really, really nice to hear that. And I've got a cousin with autism as well, severe autism, and similar thing. He does car detailing for a local community thing, and he loves it. So because he's so focused on what he does and wants to do a good job. I don't think he's missed a day in like 5 years or whatever it's been. So I can definitely relate to what you're saying. And I was going to say as well, has the business married up to what you thought coming into it? So you said you like the system at the start. Has it married up to what you're doing? How are you finding your lifestyle overall? You happy with your level of income, all that stuff?
Well, this is secondary income for my family. My wife's the main income earner in our family. So we always saw me getting into this franchise as a supplementary income, and it's well and truly achieving that. It gives me the flexibility. I think occasionally during the quieter winter months, we'd like a little bit more business, but that's up to me growing my base. So I've got a larger base. So when the drop off happens in winter, it doesn't affect me as much. But yeah, I think Jim's has pretty much ticked a lot of the boxes that they promised early on. I can't really be critical. The only criticism I'd be would be our lead fees are quite high. So
yeah,
and that's been explained to me many a time. And that's just something we have to cop, I suppose.
Well, lead fees is a common issue, don't worry, Terry, with every division. And yes, Jim will never budge on it. But
yeah,
yes,
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But what I want to do, mate, is first of all, thank you very much for what you do with that young man. I didn't know that at the start, and that means a lot to a lot of people. So thank you for doing that. I hope other franchisees do it as well. And also, big thank you from us. We're going to send you this on the way. You're going to get an email, make an account. 2 free nights for you and your partner, whoever you want to take, to any of your core hotel plus discounts. But once again, thank you for sharing your story today on the Jim's podcast, and thank you for what you do, Terry. It's fantastic to meet you.
Yeah, and likewise. Thanks for your time. Have a good
No
week.
worries. Thanks, mate. No, you
All
too.
the best. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.